There are over 500,000 people in the UK with an autism spectrum disorder, which is approximately 1 in 100. Joining me now is Dave Robinson, who suffers from Asperger syndrome, and Heidi Shepherd from the National Autistic Society. Hello to you both, and thank you very much for coming in. Now, we touched upon it there in the intro, but if you could explain to me, please, what Asperger is and how it manifests itself, first of all.
Aspergers is a diagnosis on the autism spectrum, and therefore everybody's affected in very, very different ways. It's a lifelong learning disability, so it affects people in terms of social impairment, social interaction and social communication. And as I'm as different as you are, then everybody on the spectrum is going to be very different.
OK, Dave, we mentioned there you actually have Asperger syndrome,
Correct.
don't you? And interestingly, chatting to you before, it wasn't diagnosed until you were 26.
Correct.
How has it affected your life so far? Have you experienced prejudice? Has it stopped you from doing anything?
Yeah, very much so. Whenever you try and do something like try and get back into work or something like that, or something similar, you come up against rules or red tape that effectively shoots you down and sends you back to square one. In my case, I'm always very, very security conscious and aware as regards to Asperger's. I like my routines very much so, and things of that nature, which some people might construe as a bit odd, but which, in my case, which suits me and suits my comfort levels. If you know what I mean.
Did you experience difficulties at school then? As we just said then, it wasn't until 26, which I know for you was quite a revelation, wasn't it, to actually have a name for what you'd been experiencing?
Yes. At school and like college and later on in work, I knew and my family knew there was something there, but we couldn't quite put our finger on it. And it was only until 2006 that the condition was actually diagnosed. So,
and sometimes that just makes it better, as I said, just to have a name for it, doesn't it?
I feel, certainly in my case, since the diagnosis and all the work I have been doing, I've achieved more in the last 30 months than in the last 26 years put together, and hopefully I'll go on achieving all that. Continue my levels of achievement and all that.
I have no doubt, having spoken to you earlier today. Back to you, Heidi. Now, Asperger is not a mental health issue. We know that, but the reason I want to bring it up is it's World Mental Health Day on Saturday, and from David's explanation there about the difficulties he's had and talking to you earlier, I know that there is quite a high proportion of people with Asperger who will suffer from depression of some kind.
I mean, obviously, 1 in 4 people in society can experience mental health illness at some point in their lives, whether it be through difficulties or a diagnosable illness. But for people on the autism spectrum, you know, they're facing high anxiety, which is going to enhance some of those risks associated with depression, because people can be socially isolated. Yeah. They might not have the support around them, which again can lead to depression and other mental ill health. So it's really important that we take that into account when we're thinking of individuals with Asperger's.
Absolutely. And finally, Dave, I know you've been very active in campaigning, firstly to raise awareness about what Asperger is, but also to improve the social care policy. You feel very strongly about this, don't you?
Yes. Yes, what I have been doing over the last 30 months or so is working with both my care provider and housing association on various panels, trying to improve the services, because increasingly it's becoming very important to get the tenant's view, because we are, shall we say, expert witnesses and we have first-hand accounts, which is more important than anything else. And it's very important to do that. I'm also very, very keen to improve the service, to try and break down some of the stigmas and the urban myths surrounding mental health. So basically, just because you've got a mental health issue does not mean to say that you're completely sidelined, that you can still play an active part, and all that.
Absolutely. Important point you make there. Unfortunately, we're out of time. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you both. Thank you very much for coming in. And Dave, best of luck with your future campaigning. Thank you very much.